Here we go. Exercise number 1, a bench press. Feel free to do this however you like to. Straight bar bench press is fine too. I just didn't have one available really. I also personally prefer doing separated than just a single bar across the way. This one we improvised. So we're using cables. Here's the form. This is what it looks like. Flat bench. So you're just going to start here at 90 degrees. Press up, bring hands in. Getting the elbows extended. You don't have a lockout, but you get a good squeeze in the triceps and the chest. Come back down, touch back up. Back down, back down. Okay? That's it. So I did, actually, this is the first exercise. I actually did 2 warm-up sets already, and then I did 3 working sets. Each one increasing the weight each time. My first few workouts, I didn't hit it that aggressively. Now I'm really getting after it again. So I'm really heavily increasing my weights. My last set, I could only do 6 reps, and I went basically down from 12, 10, 8, 6, something like that. Whatever feels comfortable for you. Numbers are not as big as they used to make them out to be, I don't believe. Listen to your body, push yourself when you need to, and then learn and take it easy at first if you're just beginning. All right, hope that was a good one beginning on. We're gonna now move on to the next exercise. I'm lowering that weight because I already did that one. All right, so here's the next exercise. With this one, another chest exercise. The idea is to have the grip in closer, okay? So the elbows are more down towards the side. This is a little bit wider than I would prefer, but it's what I had. I used it, it's fine. It did adjust the grip, and it's also an incline, so we're going from flat bench now to incline just to affect the chest differently. Same exact form. Again, starting out at about 9 degrees here, pressing up, not locking out the elbows entirely, but just getting a good squeeze on the triceps, and then back down 9 degrees, back up. Okay? This one's a little bit different. So with this one, my chest was already warmed up. Here's what I did. I did 1 set, which I put on a weight thinking it was going to be difficult. It wasn't. I did another set where I jacked up the weight another 40 pounds. It still wasn't any that much more difficult. So then I really cranked it up. Well, I hit a wall right at the 4th rep, or 5th rep, I should say. I couldn't get it, I failed, which failure is okay. Failure is a great thing. What I did is I lowered the rate 1 plate. I tried again, couldn't get that either. Lowered it again and tried again. I gave myself a few seconds in between, but I was really trying to get that 5th rep. Got down about 4 plates or so, and then finally hit that 5th rep and did 1 more just for good measure. Came back, lowered the weight 1 plate less than the original heaviest weight I went to, and cranked out about 2 or 3, and then did the same process again. Again, going to failure, couldn't hit it, went up a plate, went to as best I could. If I couldn't get it, I went up a plate again, okay? So a little different. Again, I'm really going after it now. So if you've kind of been following me, or if you've been increasing your workouts and hitting a wall and want something to make it more difficult for you, this is what I'm doing, all right? So I hope that helps. That's the second exercise for chest. Now on to number 3. All right, this one's hard to get the frame for, so we're going to do the exercise and then we're going to talk about it. All right, so flies. My neck is supported, low back. I'm using my core to keep that nice and flat. All the way out, back in, and squeeze at the top. Flatten that weight out. Squeeze at the top. So out and back in. Let's talk. Okay. So, please do this on a flat bench if you don't feel comfortable with your core or your stability right now. This is a great way to affect the kinetic chain though, and also just really incorporate the full body. So here's what we're doing. We're still working chest. We're also starting to warm up our biceps because that's the next exercise and muscle group that we're going to. We're doing flies. So now we no longer have the triceps. We have a little bit of the delt, but we're not using the triceps to assist us in pressing anymore and using the chest. It's almost all chest. That being said, the weight you're going to be able to do is probably going to be a little bit less than you would be able to do on a press or something like that. So adjust that accordingly. Don't feel bad if you're not able to do as much on a fly as you can do a press. For this one for me, I went a good weight knowing it was going to be difficult. I think I did 10 reps for my first set, and then I went up weight again, and then I did about 6 or 7 there. I got to 7, I think. And then I was happy with that weight, so I stayed at that. I do, again, I think I mentioned this before, I have a shoulder injury, so I had a torn labrum, it's been repaired. It feels great now, but I just like to be careful with it. So I did that. 7 reps is still pretty good weight, and I'll go heavier as I get stronger and feel that too. I mentioned earlier, it's going to start warming up our biceps anytime you do flies because we're using that to stabilize a little bit as well. So that was nice. And then I purposely chose the ball because I did want to include more of my core. I did forget, I did do a crunch, a side oblique crunch earlier between two of the bench press exercises. So I'll show you guys that one as well. And I'll tell you where I fit that in. But this one also allowed me to use my lower back and my abs to stabilize as I supported my core, and then my neck was supported by the ball and allowing myself to still get a good press from my chest and support in my upper back as well. All right, so I hope that one worked out for you. Hope you can see what I did there. And if you don't have a ball, just use a bench. It's going to be just as good for your chest. Just won't get some of the kinetic chain and the core in there. Okay, on to, we'll show you really quickly, I'll show you the crunches and then we'll go on to the next exercise. All right, this one's a little weird. So I turn off the music for a split second and then we'll be back on pumping it up. Okay, with this one, it's just gonna be a crunch. So you normally crunch up like this. We're doing an oblique crunch. So the obliques are the side muscles that help you stabilize side to side and turning. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna do the same thing on either side. You're gonna turn over, so whatever side you're turning to, take that top leg and put it over the outside leg. So you're gonna turn the feet over this way, and then you're going to put your hand behind your ear, never behind your head so you're pulling your neck, just gently behind your ear, and you're gonna bring your left shoulder, or for me, my left this time, your outside shoulder, if this is inside, outside shoulder to the inside hip. Think of it as if you had a string attached to your shoulder and your hip, and you're just kind of pulling that string up and bringing those together. So it's gonna look like this, come up and across, and you can even put your finger right here on your oblique and feel that squeeze, okay? That's just gonna be an oblique crunch. I just did 2 sets of those in between my first chest exercise and the second, just to give myself a little bit of breather and hit some core while I was doing it, okay? So again, one shoulder in, one shoulder out. And what that looks like on the other side, just quickly, here and across. All right, let's take a look at that tape, and hopefully that came out well for you. Okay, last exercise. So we do chest, and we're doing biceps today, a little bit of core. This one is going to be fun. All of it's fun. Anyhow, I'm going to do the first row just to show you form and kind of go back and forth on that. And then to show you, and then I'm just going to finish up the rest of the set so you can see what we're doing. And I'll talk to you about it kind of afterwards. But I haven't done this exercise yet, so we're going to go ahead and go through it. We're going to start smallest, go all the way to largest. So here we go. All right, we're going to do 5, 3, and then probably 1 or 2. See as many as you can. So here's a side view. Shoulders should be back, knees slightly bent. You're going to curl up, and then back down, back up, back down, back up, back down, back up, back down. Okay, that's 5. Here, 5 more. So again, to the side. 1, 2, should be the front. 3. 4, 5. Getting pumped up here. Here we go. Aha! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh, boy, that chest is already slipping today. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So now we're doing 5 on top row. Here we go. Just going to do the rest. 3 and then 1 or 2. Now you're going to notice on the last few, there's going to be some more movement than the curls, and we're going to talk about that at the end. So on the last few, you're going to notice some more movement, and we'll talk about that at the end. It's a little sacrifice in the form there, that's for sure. Okay. Woo. So try not to arch the back as best you can. It's not the end of the world. but it's better not to arch the back. It's better for your spine. Here we go. Nope. So this one's going to get a little bit of a jump. It's mostly just going to be my blood sugar is low. I will think about it and I will comment on it later. All right, let's talk about that. This set's feeling good, so I'm gonna record this one here just for posterity. There's a reason I wanted to record that. I'll tell you about it. Okay, so let's talk about the last exercise. It's a fun exercise, a little bit different, a little bit unique. The form is the same, so if you just want to do 3 sets of curls the way I showed you with the form, do that. I would start off that way anyway, so if you're a beginner watching this, just do like I did the top row, whatever feels comfortable to you to get some resistance. 10 to 12 reps, usually 3 sets, 3-4 sets, see what feels comfortable. This was to show you guys who maybe aren't beginners, something different to do, something different to try, or if you are beginners and you're wanting to save this for later on, that'll work too. With the form, the way we did the first time is the way you want to do it. And then the way we did the second time, there's a little bit of a hop. It's very much like a clean or a jerk if you've done any of those. You're using your legs to gain momentum and thrust the weight up. So that's what we were doing on the last row essentially. And the idea behind that is just to get the weight up and then going into failure. So that's good to do too. It's effective. It helps for muscle gain, muscle build. A good way to shock the muscles. So that's what that's for. It's okay to jump a little bit. Historically, yes. Will you lose out on a little bit of bicep? Barely, but not really, because you're still shocking the muscle and doing something different. But the idea behind isolation, so the first way we did the exercise on the top row, is that you're focusing solely on the bicep. You're not allowing any other muscles to spot you essentially or assist you. And so therefore the bicep gains the most. But we did that. We went through the first 2 rows doing that, and then the bottom row we just did something different. I showed you, and then so that makes that right there. Be careful on form. Still try not to arch the back. Still keep the back nice and flat. Keep the legs bent. Jump, come up, and then come down. I showed you the second set, one because I was feeling really good after I did the 50s and I didn't tape that at all, and then I taped it from the 40s down, which was okay. But I took a nice 2-3 minute break in between. So two minutes is usually a good idea if you're doing heavier reps, like 5 or so. But I finished out and I wanted to just show like there's definitely failure there, right? I wasn't perfect. It didn't look great on all of them. But I wanted to show that it's embarrassing to show, I'll be honest. But I felt like it was important to show because at the end of the day, nobody's perfect. No one gets to be successful what they're doing without some failures. That's just truth. But oftentimes, as we see things in especially our world today with social media and whatnot, we get the prettier side of things and not some of the ugly. So I wanted to show a little bit of the ugly that I had in my last set there as well. So there is some failure, there is some times where it doesn't look as good as we'd like it to, and maybe I'd be more inclined to leave it out, but I'm gonna leave it in. So that's that last exercise, and yeah, if you have any comments, questions, concerns, feedback, suggestions, let me know. I'm happy and open to hear it. Peace. Hope you all enjoyed that and have a great day. Take care.